How would you like your knees to go from this, ouch, to this? Well, a solution is finally here. Watch closely, and I'll show you how you can rebuild your knees from the inside out with this new knee candy. But it's only made for certain folks. If you answer yes to any of the following questions, then you may qualify. Is there nothing but bone left in your joints? Are your joints in excruciating pain? Do you hear clicking, grinding, or popping when you move your joints? Is the pain so bad you're considering injections, dangerous drugs, or even a joint replacement? If so, I beg you to stop and watch this brief video. I was just like you not that long ago. I was suffering every day. The pain was so bad I could barely move. The mornings were the worst. Getting out of bed was agony. It took hours for me to feel like I could move around without limping, grunting, and groaning. I was starting to use a cane, the pain was so bad, and I'm only 65. I was desperate for a solution, so I scheduled a double knee replacement. But before I went under the knife, a miracle happened. An old friend showed me a simple but delicious recipe that rescued my joints, saved me from surgery, and spared me months of rehab. And it saved me thousands of dollars in medical bills. Now I'm walking for miles at a time without pain. I get up out of bed without pain, ready to tackle anything the day throws at me. I can even play tennis and golf again. I feel like it's taken years off my body. It took my joints from this to this. And now I want to show you how you can rescue your joints and stop the excruciating pain once and for all. What do I owe this miracle to? Well, it all started on the day I broke my granddaughter's heart. Usually, she would run to me, wrap her little arms around my legs, look up with that sweet face and say, "Play with me, Grandpa." I would always say, "Yes, let's play." And she would put her precious little hand in mine and pull me down to the floor to play with her stuffies and dolls. We would laugh and play on the floor for hours. It was one of the great joys of my life. But on this day, I had to say, "No, Grandpa can't play today." Her reaction cut me like a knife. She looked up, tears welling in her eyes, and said, "Why?" I had to admit something that twisted the knife even further. "Grandpa's knees just hurt too bad. I'm sorry, sweetie." She slowly walked away from me, disappointment all over her face. It broke my heart. But I just couldn't do it anymore. Kneeling on the floor, getting up and down, chasing her around, was all too painful. I thought the pain in my knees would be worse than the pain I would feel letting her down. Of course, I was wrong. Breaking her heart was way worse. I never felt older and more decrepit than I did at that moment. It felt like the end of a big part of my life. I would become the boring old grandpa that sat in a chair and patted his grandkids on the head as they ran by. Eventually, they'd just ignore me altogether. But I just couldn't stand the pain anymore. Nothing helped. Believe me, I tried. I am a medical doctor after all. Physician, heal thyself, right? NSAID drugs like ibuprofen would give me temporary relief, but I knew firsthand the damage they did. I had patients that had kidney, heart, and digestive issues from years of taking those terrible little pain pills. And the prescription drugs were worse. They're habit-forming and downright dangerous for your long-term health. But all that changed when I got an email from a doctor friend in Florida. A patient of his had completely rebuilt his knees in a matter of months without surgery. He was using a strange mixture that contained two incredible natural compounds. One was banned for 83 years before the government finally came to its senses recently. The other is so old it was gifted to Jesus Christ himself. But I discovered that combining the two has a powerful effect on your body, and especially your knees. See, the medical community has completely missed the boat when it comes to inflammation. They've been treating the symptoms and ignoring the root cause. And the way they've been treating the symptoms has prevented your body from healing the root cause. Those pills are making your knees worse in the long run. That's why your knees are probably bone on bone. You've been treating the wrong kind of inflammation. This new breakthrough soothes a certain type of inflammation that Big Pharma has ignored for decades. It soothes the pain in your knees and joints and boosts the body's natural processes to naturally repair the tissue in weeks. Most people feel like they're walking on new knees. It's like grease on a door hinge. Your knees will bend smoothly and without pain after taking this double-action formula. I've been treating patients since 1979, and I've never seen the kind of recovery that this formula provides. A couple of my patients have described it as miraculous. Thomas Z says, "I'm 67 years old and I'm getting back my knees like I had back in my 30s. And John Peterson says, "I tried everything and was ready to schedule surgery. Thank God I found this. It's been amazing and I haven't thought about surgery in months." Finally, my very suspicious patient, Marianne Humphreys, says, "I was so skeptical about this, but believe me, it works. I've started playing tennis again with the girls and loving life again. Now, I'm back on the floor with my little granddaughter, happily having tea parties and hiding in closets while she counts in the other room. I'm back to working out regularly, and I feel younger and more energetic than I have in a decade. And I've created a special formulation in a fun-to-eat candy for folks just like you that suffer every day. And I'll even show you how you can get free bottles just for trying it during our initial trial period. I know you've tried everything under the sun and been disappointed or scared of the consequences of taking it long term. What works is dangerous, and what's safe doesn't work, right? This formula is effective, and I have the x-rays to prove it. And it's non-addictive, legal, and completely safe. And it's so delicious, you'll have to stop yourself from eating the whole jar in one sitting. It's that good. So if you're staring down the barrel of knee replacement surgery or swallowing handfuls of pills just to get through the day, I beg you to read every word on this page. It's critical that you understand why you're in pain and how this new solution could be a godsend for you. You can get back to exercising, playing outdoors, and enjoying your kids and grandkids in short order. First, let me tell you why this breakthrough changed my life. As I mentioned before, I've been a medical doctor and trying to help people get healthy for 41 years. But I don't run your typical medical practice. I specialize in combining the technology of modern medicine with the wisdom of natural methods that have been used for centuries. I do this for two reasons. I want what works now and what is good for the long-term health of my patients. Most physicians are only worried about temporary fixes. They want to get you out of their clinic as fast as possible so they can bill as many people in a day as possible. Not me. I want to fix the root cause of my patients' problems so that we're not just masking symptoms with drugs. It's the only reason I became a doctor, not to become a slave to an insurance company that tells me how long to spend with my patients. And I found that both Western medicine and natural remedies can often work together to get the best results. Anyone who says natural remedies are quackery or that Western medicine is out of touch is sorely misinformed, in my humble opinion. In this day and age, with all the serious diseases and ailments we're dealing with, we need to use every tool at our disposal. That means I'm open-minded and willing to investigate anything that can help my patients. And because of this open-mindedness and the results my patients get, I have a lengthy wait list. I have a 4.5-star rating on healthgrades.com. My other specialty is geriatric medicine, which is a fancy way of saying I help old folks feel younger and healthier. I'm 66 years old, still work 5 days a week, and have a passion for helping people of age get the most out of their later years. Which is why being crippled by knee pain was so darn frustrating. I was supposed to be helping people with the exact problem I was suffering from, but I just couldn't figure it out. I tried natural remedies, prescription drugs, even acupuncture. Most things worked for a little while, but the nasty side effects set in and the benefits would eventually fade away. Soon, I'd be right back where I started, and it was the same story with my patients. They'd complain that they couldn't exercise, do household chores, or even walk the dog without terrible pain in their knees. And I'd send them off with a variety of concoctions, just hoping something would work. And they'd be back in a few weeks, complaining the pain was back. I researched and found very few effective and budget-friendly solutions that could help people. But after telling my granddaughter I couldn't play with her anymore, I realized I couldn't just give up that easy. I decided I had to try the last resort. knee replacement surgery. I had avoided it for years. I even warned patients against it. Knee replacement surgery requires 3 to 4 months of rehabilitation, and there's no guarantee that the knee will ever feel normal. Many patients just never feel comfortable with the new knee. Plus, there are so many complications that come with surgery: anesthesia, blood clots, infection. And there's a shockingly high number of people that require revision surgeries to clean up issues with the first surgery. I personally know 3 people that had to have knee replacements. The new knee just didn't hold up. And of course, there's the cost. You're looking at spending at least $50,000, and if you need additional surgeries, it will be far more. Count yourself lucky if you have insurance that will cover all that. But I was desperate, so I reached out to a physician friend in Florida. He had done hundreds of knee replacements, and he knew how to do it right. I emailed him and explained what I was going through. His reply changed my life and the life of my patients forever. He told me he was trying a new formula with his patients that was delaying and even in some cases removing the need for knee replacements. I was stunned. An orthopedist recommending something that might take money right out of his pocket? But that's why I consider him a friend. Like me, he just wanted what was best for his patients. He also realized that his knee surgeries were nearly bankrupting many of his clients, and he had some guilt about that. So he decided to help people who couldn't afford surgery with this formula. And he found many people who had knee replacements still needed help managing pain. This formula did that too. He gave me the formula and told me he had a 3-month wait list for knee surgeries anyway, so why not try this while I waited? 2 ingredients in the right proportion for maximum results. I thought it would be easy to get them and get started right away. Once again, I was wrong. One ingredient was still illegal in most states at the time. Our short-sighted government classified it with psychoactive drugs, even though it wasn't psychoactive. The other was so obscure, I had to go to 4 different natural health stores just to find it. But I finally got it all together and started taking it. I started to notice I could get out of bed easier after the first day. By day 2, walking was much easier. After a long day on my feet at the clinic, I was used to being in terrible pain all evening. That pain was fading away. I could go for an evening walk after dinner. I was able to kneel down and tie my shoe, or pick something up off the floor without pain. And then came the ultimate test. My granddaughter came over to visit. She approached me carefully this time. I could tell she didn't want to be disappointed again. So I gave her a big smile, kneeled down, and hugged her tight. She looked up and said in that sweet voice, "Play with me." And I said with a big belly laugh, "Yes." My daughter looked at me with shock and said, "Are you sure?" I beamed at her. "Yep, now let's play." We played for almost 2 hours, and my knees felt great afterward. I even went on a long walk with my family and stood in the kitchen cooking and laughing it up with my family. My knees felt great. My wife joked that I must have gotten new knees while she wasn't looking. In a way, she was right. I had found it, the solution to my knee problem. But being a scientist at heart, I just had to know. How does this stuff work? I knew the 2 ingredients were powerful anti-inflammatories, but I had been prescribing and using anti-inflammatories for years. Why did these ingredients work better than all those others? It turns out we've been treating inflammation all wrong for decades. Inflammation is a boogeyman in medicine these days, and for good reason. So much of the disease and age-related decline we experience can be traced back to inflammation. But inflammation is complicated. It's not just a switch that turns on and induces pain. There are several parts of inflammation. And the drugs and remedies I had been using and prescribing in the past only addressed one part. See, when you use your knees and joints for years, you experience wear and tear. The squishy material in your knees, called cartilage, starts breaking down. This causes inflammation to set in. Inflammation is supposed to be the first step to repair an injury. It's our body's natural response to damage. If you've ever twisted your ankle and watched it swell up, that's inflammation setting in. It sends extra blood and enzymes to the area to begin to repair tissue. But inflammation is not good at repairing chronic conditions. especially chronic conditions like wear and tear in the knees and other joints. When the inflammation fades away, the body then releases more compounds that actually repair the damaged tissue. But if the initial inflammation never fades away, the body never sends those compounds to repair the joint. This is called the bystander effect. Imagine if you saw someone collapse in the grocery store, clutching their heart. You see another person approach them quickly and take command of the situation and start CPR. You move on because you see the first responder know CPR, not realizing that they need your help to call 911. That's what is happening with inflammation, and specifically chronic inflammation. The first responder inflammation are the enzymes that attack the damaged area. The body thinks, they've got it covered for now. We'll send in the next phase to repair the area when they're done. But the damage continues. You keep using those joints every day, and the inflammation enzymes just keep hammering away at your joints, never able to catch up to the damage you're causing by just living your life. Inflammation starts to break down the healthy tissue over time by releasing free radicals and increasing oxidation in your knees. It attacks the cartilage in the knee joint, breaking it down until eventually you'll be bone on bone. Ouch! This starts a vicious cycle where the body's own natural response is destroying tissue. That's why we often call chronic inflammation an autoimmune problem. It means the body is attacking itself. So we must calm that first phase of inflammation in order to let the second repair phase actually fix the tissue in your aching knees. That's why we've been prescribing anti-inflammatories for decades. But those meds are only attacking one part of the inflammation. See, the first phase inflammation is made up mostly of two big enzymes. Your body naturally makes these enzymes as part of the inflammation process. The first is called prostaglandin. That's a mouthful, so let's call it PROS. PROS is essential in the body's injury response as it sends pain signals to the brain. It tells the brain to stop using that body part. This area is hurt. It also causes the blood to enter the area to start swelling. Common NSAIDs and over-the-counter pain drugs are great at reducing PROS levels in the blood. That means you feel less pain and swelling in the short term. These drugs are supposed to reduce PROS so that the second repair phase can start, which would repair the joint. But these meds don't do much of anything for the other first responder enzyme. This other enzyme is called leukotriene. Let's call it Leuk for short. It signals blood cells to attack the injury, and it tells the muscles around the injured area to tighten up and protect the injury. But if you don't reduce Leuk levels, you'll never repair that joint. The body will never begin the second phase of healing if the Leuk levels are still high. That's why you need to address both of these inflammatories if you're going to heal your knees. Fortunately, that's exactly what the first ingredient in this breakthrough formula does. This compound has a bizarre story, and it all starts with the birth of Christ. If you remember the birth of Christ, you'll recall that 3 wise men visited Jesus after his birth. You remember what they brought? It was gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Frankincense was burned in religious ceremonies for centuries. In fact, in English, we just shortened the name to incense after a while. But it has been used as medicine for centuries, too. It was used for headaches, menstruation pain, and to help injuries heal. In the medical world, we call frankincense boswellia because it comes from the boswellia tree. And now we have scientific proof that boswellia is super effective for knee pain. See, unlike with NSAIDs and other pain drugs, boswellia lowers the levels of both Leuk and PROS, the 2 inflammation enzymes that I spoke about earlier. When you lower those levels, the body can finally kick in the second phase, which actually repairs the knee joint. Dozens of studies prove this, but one in particular stands out. They did a double-blind placebo-based trial, which means they gave half the folks sugar pills and half of them boswellia for a couple months. Then they did a huge battery of tests to see the effects of boswellia on the knee. The patient's pain and stiffness scores went down 68%. Their inflammation markers dropped at least 57%. The patients were able to walk 36% farther in the same amount of time. Quality of life scores went up 42%. But most surprising of all were the X-rays. The researchers were shocked to see the drastic improvement in the knees of the testers. Notice how the spacing is so much farther apart than the afters on the right. No, the knee joint didn't get wider. The body rebuilt the cartilage between the bones. And Boswellia gradually removed the bone spurs that caused so much pain for the testers. The subject's knees got better naturally as soon as all the inflammation was removed. It did this because the Boswellia had soothed the inflammation in the joint and allowed the repair process to finally kick in. So it soothed the pain, lowered the inflammation, and allowed the body to finally heal itself. Pretty cool, right? But we can't just use any Boswellia to get these results. We need to use Boswellia that is high in one particular part of the plant to reduce those inflammation enzymes. The part we need is called beta-boswellic acid, or BBA, and only certain strains of Boswellia have enough of it to help your knees. So if you're using cheap, store-bought Boswellia, you're probably not getting enough BBA. But if we really want new knees in no time, we need to boost that repair process too. That's where the second ingredient comes in. That ingredient is called full-spectrum hemp extract. I know you've heard about hemp, but you're probably wondering what all the fuss is about. Many people think hemp is marijuana. Hemp is the part of the plant that won't get you high. Full-spectrum hemp extract does a lot of different things for the body, but it is not psychoactive like pot. And it turns out our bodies need the phytonutrients in hemp. See, there's a whole system in the body that controls inflammation, healing, and pain response. It's called the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. And it seems like every day we find another benefit to having a healthy ECS. But its primary function is to bring the body back into balance and heal quickly. So when we have injury or inflammation, the ECS system kicks in and helps the body heal. But as we age, our ECS system breaks down, just like everything else. So, just like with vitamins, we must supplement the ECS with cannabinoids like full-spectrum hemp. But, like with Boswellia, we can't just use any off-the-shelf hemp extract. It's critical to use high-quality, full-spectrum hemp because it contains at least 13 different cannabinoids, all with very specific roles in healing the knees. Full-spectrum hemp contains additional cannabinoids like cannabigerol. Cannabigerol has been proven to be a super effective anti-inflammatory like hemp extract, but it also stimulates cellular growth in bones and muscle tissue. So cannabigerol can speed up the healing process. One study showed that full-spectrum hemp was super effective in healing a common knee ailment. The study showed that full-spectrum hemp extract cut LUC levels, one of those first responder inflammatories, by almost 80% in a few hours. Not surprisingly, the study showed that hemp extract was super effective at treating knee pain. Also, full-spectrum hemp extract can act as a natural muscle relaxer. Much of the pain we feel in our knees and legs is actually from stiff muscles. If our knees start to hurt more, we move them less. This leads to muscle stiffness, which can lead to more pain. And the stiffness can reduce blood flow to the joint. We need healthy blood flow to heal our knees. Hemp loosens and relaxes the muscles, reducing muscle pain and improving blood flow to your knee joint. There's one more reason I love to use hemp extract to heal knees. Hemp helps your body heal by helping you get deep, restorative sleep. Remember, our body can really heal itself once we reduce inflammation. But your body does most of its healing while you sleep. While you're snoring away, your body has dozens of processes that repair cells, tissues, and especially your knees. But it can only do that if you have deep sleep. Full-spectrum hemp extract can help you get deep sleep. In one study, hemp extract helped people to improve sleep scores by an average of 67%. So, sleep more equals heal more. But there was another problem. Taking hemp and Boswellia together was not fun. All the Boswellia supplements that were high in BBA I found came in these big horse pills that were hard to swallow. And the hemp comes in an oil, which doesn't taste very good and is hard to take on the go. So I decided to start making the formula myself. I needed a formula that would be super effective at relieving knee and joint pain, help rebuild the knee joint for better long-term mobility, and be convenient and delicious so that I enjoyed taking it. See, I'm sick of taking pills. Between my various supplements and prescriptions, I take about 24 pills a day. I knew there was a better way, but it took me months of research and testing to find the right recipe. I tried 29 different formulas before I found the perfect ratio of ingredients. And I gave the formula to my patients too, dozens of them in the first month. They loved it. They raved about not only the taste, but the feeling of having new knees. Now I have lost cause patients lining up to see me and try this formula too. These are people that are on the cusp of surgery and have tried everything to avoid it. This formula is transforming their lives too, and they are saving tens of thousands of dollars and months of pain and rehab. And now I am so excited to announce this formula is ready for wide release on a trial basis. I'm willing to bet this is the most delicious knee-restoring formula you've ever had. Each gummy contains 20 milligrams of full-spectrum hemp extract, 200 milligrams of beta-boswellic acid, and just 1.5 grams of organic cane sugar for a delicious gummy that you'll be excited to take every morning. 1.5 grams is about a quarter of a teaspoon. No more horse pills getting stuck in your throat or weird oils to drop under your tongue. Just pop a JointRestore gummy or two into your mouth and chew. After all you've been through, you deserve a treat. And you deserve to have smooth-bending, pain-free knees, too. I've been testing it with some patients in my clinic, and the results have been astounding. Helen T. says, JointRestore has changed my life, honestly. I was so desperate when I found it that I would have tried anything. Now it feels like my knees felt 20 years ago. No lie. I wish I had found this years ago, but I'm so happy to have it. Danette Perlow says, let me tell you, I tried everything. Acupuncture, pills, creams, everything. This is the only thing that has made my knees feel better. My hips don't hurt anymore, too. Dave Mason says, let's just say I'm 67, and I thought I was headed for a walker in a year or two with my pain. And now I run 2 to 3 miles twice a week. JointRestore is that good. My patients are able to play their favorite sports again. They can walk and go on hikes again without pain. And they can do simple tasks like kneeling to pray or gardening without the crippling pain that has bothered them for years. And I hear the same thing over and over again. People feel younger when they can move easier. The knee pain made them feel old and made moving around such a chore that they became sedentary. Now they're able to move freely, and they are enjoying a renewed energy and sense of freedom. Many are losing weight because they can exercise again, all because their knees feel like new. Now I want to offer it to you, and I'll show you how you can qualify for 3 free bottles. Look, to do this on your own would be like looking for the lost Ark of the Covenant. You'll need a lot of time for research and a lot of money for testing. You could try to find hemp that is U.S. Health Authority approved. The USHA seal is reserved for the highest quality hemp extract products in the world, and JointRestore gummies pass the test. But you'd probably spend days or weeks finding the right stuff. Plus, you'd have to find a hemp supplier like mine. They use a patented system called Terpex to extract their hemp. You've probably heard about CO2 extraction or solvent extraction for hemp. My supplier uses whole hemp plant oil to extract full-spectrum hemp from the plant. It's a wet process that ensures more terpenes, which are what really make your pain go away, than any other process. Then, you'd have to figure out how to mix it all so that it doesn't taste bad. Hemp can taste like marijuana if it's not mixed right. And Boswellia tastes like incense in its raw form. Yuck. But our combination tastes so good, you'll have to restrain yourself from eating the whole jar in one sitting. That's why I call it my knee candy. Here's how you can get JointRestore gummies. Believe me, it's not easy creating a high-quality product that is affordable. The high-quality ingredients are expensive. But I knew with people's mobility and happiness on the line, we couldn't afford to use cheap ingredients. Plus, working with a lab that is FDA and U.S. Hemp Authority approved is expensive. Those governing bodies add a lot of inspections, documentation, and quality control. That means it's expensive to produce these products. But it's worth it knowing that my customers are getting the best. So right now, I am offering you a chance to get 3 free bottles when you buy 3 bottles at the regular price of $79.97 each. That covers the cost of the ingredients, bottles, shipping, handling, and provides me a very modest wage for creating the product. I'm not looking to get rich off this product, but I do need to make something for all the time I've invested in this. Plus, I pay my doctor friend who helped me discover the formula. Each bottle contains 30 doses, so for as little as $1.33 a day, you can restart to completely rebuild your knees and soothe the pain that has kept you on the sideline for years. Just click below to make sure we still have inventory and select the package that suits your needs. Remember, knee replacements are at least $50,000, plus months of rehab, and there's a risk you'll need even more surgery. And prescription drug costs are skyrocketing as greedy drug companies pump up prices to keep their shareholders happy. I'm confident this is the most affordable, most effective, most delicious option you're going to find anywhere. In fact, it's so good, I expect Big Pharma to try to grab it for themselves any day now. They're already trying to patent hemp extract so that only they can profit from its incredible healing powers. Now, we're trying to get this into as many people's hands as possible before they do that. Stock is running low, but we completely underestimated how popular this product would be, and we're constantly running out of stock. And with COVID still disrupting supply chains around the country, we're not sure how much longer we'll have supplies. So I implore you to test it now and get as much as you can. I'll remove any risk from you anyway, because I have the only lifetime guarantee in the business. When I started buying supplements online way back in the late 90s, I was constantly disappointed in 2 things: the quality of the product, the return policies. It was so hard to get a return authorization. I found a lot of shady companies would simply wait to respond to my refund request for a few days so that they could say, "Whoops, you had 30 days for a refund, it's been 32 days. I vowed to do things different when I started selling high-quality supplements. I am so sure you're going to love my products, and they will actually do what I say they will do, that I offer the only lifetime satisfaction guarantee you'll ever see. If at any time, even 10 years from now, you decide that JointRestore just isn't for you, just email my customer support gal, Barb, at prosperwellness.co, and she'll refund your money right away. She'll even mail a check if you no longer have the credit card you used. The only way I can afford to do this guarantee is to have really low refund rates. And my customers love JointRestore gummies. I almost never have to refund their money. But if it's just not your thing, no worries. You can have your money back anytime. Click below to start your order. You may be wondering, if it works so well, why aren't doctors everywhere prescribing it? This is an excellent question, and one I think about a lot. First off, most medical doctors have no interest in prescribing natural remedies. They've been trained from the get-go that natural equals voodoo. That's a darn shame, if you ask me. Nature has been healing us for centuries. We'd be fools not to accept what it gives us. Besides, most of the active ingredients in prescription drugs were actually discovered in plants first. That's right. The chemical that lowers your blood pressure or cholesterol usually comes from a plant found in an Amazon jungle. But there is another reason most doctors don't like natural remedies, and I agree with it. They believe that most of these natural remedies come from some weird hippie lady's basement. They think it's bathtub gin, and in many cases they're right. That's why I insist that my supplements are all made in an FDA-approved facility. They use the latest technology for safety and cleanliness to ensure you're getting the highest quality product on the market. You can sleep easy knowing my formula is safe, effective, and it has exactly what is on the label. No more, no less. Look, we used to think that having bad knees was just part of getting older. We see people using walkers and canes and think that's just the way things are when you get into your 70s and 80s. But it doesn't have to be that way. Now we know that we've been all wrong about painkillers. They've slowed the pain down, but they've also slowed the healing process down too. Now you can turn the pain off like a light switch and heal your knees with JointRestore gummies. You can rejuvenate your knees and feel the energy boost that comes with being able to move without pain. Enjoy walking, even running again. Get on that bike and enjoy the sunshine. Dust off the tennis racket or the golf clubs. Play with your kids and grandkids and not worry that you'll feel the consequences for days afterward. Most of all, feel the freedom that you've worked so hard to earn. You won't be confined anymore. You can say yes to those things you've always wanted to do. But you have to start now by clicking the button below and ordering your JointRestore gummies right now. You'll be taken to our completely secure checkout page where you can select your package and decide how many free bottles you want. We could run out at any moment, and if we do, you'll have to join a wait list until we get back in stock. Take the next step toward new knees. Try JointRestore gummies today and let me know what you think. When you get your order, tear open a bottle and try a couple gummies. You'll start to feel better in about 15 minutes. The muscles in your legs will start to relax. The stiffness will fade away. And after a couple days, I think you'll start to feel a little extra spring in your step. In a few weeks, I'll bet you'll have that new knee feeling. But you'll only feel it then if you start by ordering it now. Thanks for taking time to read my letter to you today.